Welcome to Video Brief by MediaBrief.com, our latest episode in the Video Brief series through which industry experts and vertical and function heads share insights in a way that is far more in person than just a text interview. Today, we have with us Sapna Desai, the Chief Marketing Officer of Manipal Cigna Health Insurance, talking about the launch of their new campaign, Mere Choice Ka Health Insurance. Welcome to Video Brief, Sapna. So happy to have you here. And we will be discussing this new fun and relatable campaign that you've launched on the very important topic of health insurance, which you've targeted especially at youngsters. So, before we dive into the questions and we talk about Mere Choice Ka health insurance, let's just play the video to give our viewers a little bit of a context.
So rent check, MCHI premium check,
MCHI premium?
Manipal Cigna health insurance.
Oh, yes.
Eating out on weekends check.
Lol, I don't think so.
क्यों? अरे
Cooking masterclass for us on the weekend.
okay.
Akka ka salary check. New OTT subscription. OMG. Why? Your brother changed all the passwords, kya?
Yeah.
Or savings? Good job, Mr. Expert Budget Planner.
Planning तो adulting का हिस्सा है. So is getting a health insurance.
इसीलिए we went with the expert, MCHI, और as I like to call it, मेरे choice का health insurance.
I called that first. Manipal Cigna health insurance. Expert की सुनो, सही चुनो.
Okay, so I mean, it's like I said, it's fun, it's relatable, it's light-hearted, and yet it's hitting at a very heavy topic. And I think you've even got the age group sort of very right because as 20-year-olds, we don't really think about health insurance at all. I think we only think about health insurance once we're like 35, 40, right? So, how are you posing Manipal Cigna as this health insurance companion for our viewers? And how have you refreshed the brand narrative?
Thanks a lot, Sabah, for the question. And I'm glad that you like the films because you are the TG. Yeah, so that's nice to hear. Really, I think to talk about the film and why we kind of feel that this is an important stage for the brand. So Manipal Cigna has always been, looking at consumers and being an expert partner in the illness and wellness. As a brand, that has been our ethos. So, over the journey, we've had various campaigns. We've talked about health or life hai, health insurance zaruri hai, and been talking to families. So, if you really see the narrative for the brand and for the sector, you end up talking to, as you rightly said, above the 35-year-old threshold. The
Yes,
typical visuals that you see are, the husband, wife, kid, parents. You talk to the
yeah,
family. What
correct.
we feel recently, and we've seen a lot of, in the past, is that a lot of transactions that are also being done, and the entire demographics are changing. So we need to like kind of bring that into play. Also, some research that IRDI recently did also mentioned that compared to the previous generations, the younger generations are becoming more financially savvy. So that's actually
Yeah,
a contra piece, and I think this is a generation which knows how to use the money. They are invested early on. They do understand the various nuances, but of course they want it in their own way. They don't want it in a different preachy manner. They want it being told on their own terms in a different the mechanism of conversation has to be different. So I think it was
true.
very clear that we had to move the brand to this audience, and along with that it was also very clear that the way that we communicate to this audience can't be the same as we communicate to a 35 plus. So,
Yes.
so while the brand is the same, so our main brand tagline is "Expert ki suno sahi chuno," which is what we really all about. It's just that how we are bringing it into play in this segment is different than how we are bringing it play to in another segment, and that was really what Mere Choice Ka Health Insurance is really about.
Okay. And how have you posed it as the companion, the perfect companion?
Yeah, so the insight that we really got into this segment, Sabha, as we went about it, is that this group of people are starting their first journey into what we you call adulting, right? It's the first time you're doing many things. So it's the first time you're buying a house, your first time you're setting up a home, even cooking experiments, or taking care of someone. So there's a lot of the journey to adulting is like, okay, it's that moment. अभी अच्छा अभी time हो गया ये अभी मुझे अपने आप करना है. So I think that was the insight. And what we are trying to say is that health insurance is also a part of adulting. So as you grow up, you get into your 20s, you start working, you start living alone, you're setting up home for the first time, you're managing your finances, you're doing various things for the very first time, which we kind of saying is how, and you know that better than, I mean, this is all about
Yeah.
adulting. And what, yeah, so, and we are bringing health insurance into that context because it actually is. So, generally, I think the campaign is really about empowerment and education, uh, because the generation already knows. So, how do we really relate to them in their own context, in the story of their lives? And that is what the four films are really about. That in this journey of adulting, make health insurance and Manipal Signa a partner of your choice, because we understand the various steps. And that's why health insurance, what's the role health insurance plays, what are the kind of products you should look at, how you should kind of go about the whole process. And that's how the campaign was structured.
Lovely. Like you said, it's all about empowering because, we have entered, you've used these three very heavy words like adulting, budgeting, and health insurance. And
Mm.
all of that together sort of tends to overwhelm this generation. So
Right,
using it to empower
right.
it's a lovely thought. Since you are targeting this younger generation, have you specifically tailored any sort of initiatives or marketing strategies or particular products to cater specifically to the younger generation?
Yeah, so how we really looked at that is that, look, this is what we want to do. So we went into the whole depth of what is this generation really looking for. What are the right products for this segment? How do we really bring that to life? So I think there were two or three things that were top of our mind. One, I think we needed to do it in a very simplified language. So have no technical, as you rightly said, the jargon, not make it overwhelming. Yeah, so make it simple. So a lot of the, if you see the landing page or the whole buying journey, so we actually changed the journey to make it very simple, click of a button, faster, method of getting in. So I think that was part A, which was the journey and the process
Oh,
itself. The second thing is, I think it's also about where and what channels to communicate to. So in terms of where is this audience, how do we reach out to them? Many times we are still a traditional, we have a traditional methods of selling, and this is a direct digital method of selling. So in this, how do we really make the stories relatable? So for example, we have two protagonists in the whole campaign, and the story is by the words of Mishi and Rishi. So we've extended that thought across, and they're almost like the face explaining these concepts to you for this generation. So giving it a face, giving it a structure, giving it a storyline, and making the complex simple uh, is the method. In terms of the product, we've kind of not really launched a new product segment yet. There are, interestingly, because see, the products largely the same. Our products are very modular uh, in structure, and we've always had a product which works for this generation. So we have features like maternity coverage that we have highlighted. We have features like taking care of your parents, because that's what a lot of need for this. People are buying for their parents and their families. So that's a product that we've also brought into play, which is a senior citizen product. We've also talked about various other facilities that we already have in our product, which is OPD coverage, doctor consultation, pharmacy, and how do you really access them. So we've kind of highlighted our current proposition, picked out features which work for this segment, and presented it as it empowered the segment to go in for these products, because that's the way it should be. Uh, so we've not at this point of time, launched a new tailored only for this segment of 25 to 35. It's the same product, but you can always pick and choose what you want.
Okay. No, but that's lovely. I think having that insurance for your parents, because usually insurance is something that parents get for their kids. So here where you have the roles
Yeah.
reversed, it's really nice. What has your media mix been for this campaign, and how are you leveraging sort of digital and social media to spread awareness?
Yeah, so we've used, I would say, a 360 approach here.
Okay.
Digital has been the mainstay, digital and social. So both Instagram, YouTube, in shorts, news platforms, aware the reaching out to this aware generation, and that's been like I think really putting it there. We've worked with a lot of collaboration, so like platforms like TTT, uh, and a couple of others, which have helped in as partners in this journey because the content of adulting is also something that is there on all these
Yeah.
platforms. So again, getting into the conversation around this whole process of adulting,
Oh,
and we've also used collaborations with influencers. Again, getting into the whole concept of okay, what is the experience when you do things for the first time, what happens, how is the journey like, and have you really thought of health insurance, how is health insurance playing a role in this journey for you. So I think that's so we've used digital, we've used social, we've used news platforms, we're doing a couple of collaborations, but really in a very segmented way so that we reach uh, the specific audience that we are talking to, which is a 25 to 35-year-old segment. We also did recently a Twitter based activity which got a lot of traction.
okay, nice. So, like you said, when you're leveraging digital and CTVs, I'm assuming. So, are you using the upcoming IPL or the upcoming general elections as well?
Uh, we're doing something with general elections on another platform, not for this
Okay.
campaign. Not yet really thought about IPL to be.
Okay. So when you're talking about in regards to this target market and this target audience, how is e-commerce helping Manipal Cigna Health Insurance to spread this campaign?
Yeah, so this is largely a digital campaign, and the journey is digital. So that's how it's been, and it's still early time, but we've seen some very good indicators. The campaign has reached, I would say, around 25 million people,
Oh,
around
wow.
20 million views for the film. So yeah, and it's a lot of been organic. There's been a lot of organic sharing, so that's been a good start. What we've also seen is an uptake on the website traffic, which is the start of the journey, and to our landing page, almost in the range of 30 to 35% increase in traffic. And what is interesting to note is that this increase has come from the segment of 25 to 34. So we have seen almost a 38% surge in this age segment,
Wow.
which is traffic to the website. We are still see ours like health insurance is a long process of
Mhm.
conversations, and even if you say e-commerce, the process takes a couple of time. So we are in the process, the journey on conversions, and we're going to keep going ahead in that journey. But it has definitely sparked conversations, driven action, and we're going to just follow this through. I mean, it's just the beginning of the campaign. Mere Choice ka health insurance also came from MCHI and the whole lingo of short phrases,
Yeah.
and we're continuing that in the next 2 quarters, and hopefully this will change our portfolio of demographics for us, and that would be how we would really call it a successful business proposition.
Okay. So that was actually my next question to you as well. What are your future plans for this campaign and for Manipal Cigna Health Insurance to reach a wider audience, maybe, and expand its footprint?
So I'll answer this in both fronts. I would answer it from this targeted segment which this campaign is through. So we are hoping that we really increase business from this segment by at least a 20 to 30%.
Okay.
Yeah. So my portfolio, which I had in the beginning, and it's a 6 7 month campaign. We just launched it. We are hoping that this audience we become the preferred brand and this audience, and we're continuing that journey. We also are will be looking at maybe at some stage introducing a tailor-made product if we find the need, and we research more on it. But that's maybe something we might think of, not there in the cards immediately, because we feel our current products cater to it. Um, but we can always explore. So that's really on this segment. Overall, from a Manipal Signa perspective, we're really looking at growing in 23, 24. We've been growing faster than the other competition. We hope to maintain that and grow across our business channels, be it the bank assurance, various channels of business,
Yeah.
various partnerships, and grow the business around 30 to 40% is how we're looking at 23, 24.
Okay. Nice. So I have exhausted my question bank, but if there's anything that you would like to add and you would like to highlight, please feel free to add it.
So I think in terms of the films are actually about Mishi and Rishi's journey into adulting, and they talk about various aspects of uh, adulting. For example, the first film talks about planning, and budget planning, which is suddenly the first time you start doing your finances and your budgets and your monthly grocery bill
Yeah.
and the electricity bills and so on. I can see a smile on your face. So yeah, so I think that's really the first film, and there we kind of talk about how Mere Choice ka health insurance, Manipal Signa's products help you with fully loaded, comprehensive products, so that it doesn't make a dent in your financing, budgeting, because the moment in case you have a health episode, all that you have planned suddenly goes for a toss.
True.
So it's very important to empower this generation with a risk based product, because normally we don't, as Indians, we understand savings, we understand right now even investing, but we don't understand putting away a small amount of money for that in case situation.
So true.
And I think it's important to get this to empower people with these kind of products, which are risk avoidance products, so that in case something happens, you have this kitty to dig into.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's really the first film, which is about adulting is planning, and so is buying a health insurance. Similarly, the next film, has Rishi really experimenting with cooking. It's the first time you're making a something new. You're trying some experiments. You get hurt in the process. You need a doctor, immediately to help you. And again, many times people don't know that health insurance is not only for those major episodes, but this regular expenses of doctor
Yes.
consultations, the diagnostics, the lab tests, which are sometimes the even more often more than that episodal treatment that you might need at the extent. So that's again another message of empowerment, that we an awareness that we want to bring. अच्छा ये भी होता है, does health insurance में डॉक्टर के कंसल्टेंट्स फीस भी होती हैं. So that's what the OPD campaign is also about. And then I think we have a very interesting thought, which is about how do you deal with so this is Rishi and Mishi with the maid, and you have thousand excuses why the maid has not come. She is missing in action. So and it's really about how keeping promises is a part of adulting.
Yes.
So being responsible, keeping promises is part of adulting. And how Manipal Signa has made a choice for health insurance. You'll get your 100% of your claim, including the non-medical expenses,
Okay.
which is a very important feature that we have. And I think that's how that storyline goes. And the fourth film really talks about how the role reversal, as you mentioned earlier, as you go into this phase, you are suddenly becoming a parent to your parent also, so taking care of their health,
Yes.
caring for them. Yeah. And one way of doing that is making sure you buy a health insurance policy for your parents,
Yes.
and at the same time, you encouraging them to stay healthy,
True.
because we have features, and many insurance health plans have those features of if you stay healthy, you get a discount in your renewal premium. So there's a lot of benefits that the products have, and we've kind of tried to bring that into the storyline with Mishi and Rishi, so that we can really talk in a relatable uh, manner
Yeah.
and kind of continue this conversation.
That's really nice. I was just thinking because it's so relatable, and I think you are really spreading that awareness because I didn't know you could have health insurance for like OPD and lab tests and pharmacy because we usually assume it'll only kick into play when you're like admitted into the hospital and you have a surgery, that sort of thing. So this was really great.
Right.
And thank you for that lovely interaction, Sapna. And for, really, as a 20 something year old, teaching me a couple of things about health insurance and also discussing very in depth about the campaign itself. So, thank you for taking out your time. And I hope our viewers enjoy it because I definitely enjoy this chat.
Thank you so much, Sabha. It was my pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was it from Video Brief by MediaBrief.com today. A very insightful session with Sapna Desai, the Chief Marketing Officer of Manipal Cigna Health Insurance, on the launch of their new campaign, Mere Choice Ka Health Insurance. As always, if you enjoyed that interaction, do go ahead and share it. This is your host, Safa Sumar, signing off.